Hey guys, what's up? So this is an amazing video. It will be on ancient history 101. That is part 1, Kasa part 1, brought to you by an academy, UN Academy, presented by Dr. Roman Sani, Double D, Doubt Demolisher. We will see how is it so. So we will be talking about sources of Indian history in this particular lecture. What are the various sources? How do we come to know कि ऐसा ही होता था और वैसा नहीं होता था? Only that happened or not this. So sources are extremely important. There are, first of all, there are literary sources which are divided into religious and non-religious. So we will be dealing with religious a lot in detail. Vedic, Buddhism, Jainism and Sangam. Similarly, non-religious one are social, political and economical. Innumerable books are written. Innumerable. So we will be dealing with some of them. Then archaeological evidence is also important. Inscription, study of inscription is called epigraphy, and numismatics is coins, and there are monuments also. And there are foreigner details as well, like Greek have traveled, Chinese have traveled, Arab have traveled, and so forth and so forth. So we start with literature. So in literature, these are the things that are important. First of all is Vedas. So Vedas literally means from Vidhi, that is to know, that is knowledge. Or Shruti, Shruti means to hear, that is verbal transmission from one generation to another. Then Rig Vedas were written around 1500 to 1000 BC. First 8 mandals were written in this period of Rig Vedas. First 8 mandals. It is dealing with prayers. It's Upved, that is Sub-Ved is Ayurveda, deals with medicine. And there are 10 mandals, out of which 8 are written here. Mandals meaning chapter and sections. Then we have something called as later Vedic Age from 1000 to 600 BC. And there are 3 Vedas which are written. The last 2 mandals plus Samved, that is Saman means melody. It is collection of melodies and tunes. If you remember this Musda saga, so it means music, dance, and saga meaning Samved, and Ga is the Upved, that is Gandharva Ved. So if you remember Musda saga, your problems will be solved. So Upved is Gandharva Ved, and it is related to music and dance. Hymns are dedicated to Som, Indra and Agni, Sia. So these are the 3 gods to which hymns are dedicated. Then we have Yajurved. If you just remember Rivas or Riyaz, so you'll remember rituals are with Yajurved. They are rituals for performing sacrifice, and Upved is Dhanurved, that is archery. Then we have Atharvaved. It is related, just remember math, that is magical charms are related to Atharvaved. And spells to ward off evil. Upved is Shilpved. Shilpved in Hindi, it means architecture. Then we have Vedangas. They are nothing but parts of Vedas, subparts or parts. There are 6 Vedangas. Siksha meaning phonetics, that is vocals. Kalp meaning rituals. Vyakaran is grammar. Jyotish is astrology. Nirukta is etymology, that is origin of words. And then we have something called as Chand. Chand means prosody. So they are various illusion writing poems and all. Then we have something called as Aranakya. Aranakya means forest books. It is written by and for hermits and for students who are spending time in isolation, example in jungle and all. They opposed sacrifice and rituals, and they stress on moral virtues. Important Aranakya. Then we have Upanishad. Upanish is the literal word which means to sit down near Guru. Selected students, they are allowed to learn and sit near Upanishads. All the 6 philosophies are talked about, more or less they are originated from Upanishads, all the Hindu philosophy. Then there are 118 number. Satyamev Jayate is a word which is taken from Mundaka Upanishad. And similarly dialogue between Yam and Nachiketa, what is life, what is meaning of life, what is death and all. So they are taken from Kadopanishad. So these are the 2 important. Then there are Chand Yogya Upanishad, something like that. There are lots of Upanishad, 118 number. If you can remember these 3 names, it will be more than enough. Then we have Puranas, literally meaning ancient explanations. They were written during Gupta period, and they are systematic record of Indian historical traditions. There are 18 Purans. Oldest is Matsya Puran, and it was written during Satvahan period. They were Andhra kings, and Gautami Putra Satkarni was the most famous king of Satvahan period. We will be dealing in details later on. Then we have something called as Buddhist literature. The Jatakas, that is a story of previous birth and rebirth of Gautam Buddha. Then we have Pitakas. Pitak means Pali. It is a Pali term. Buddhist is written in Pali entirely. Pitkas literally means basket. So they are basket of wisdom. Something called a Vinay Pitak, Sutta Pitak, Abhidham Pitak. Vinay Pitak was code of conduct followed by Buddhist monks. Sutta Pitak is religious ideas of Gautam Buddha. Anand was a disciple, he compiled it. And then is Abhidham Pitak, that is philosophical ideas of Gautam Buddha, and Ashok the Great made important contribution to Abhidham Pitak. Then we have Miland Panho. Minender was an Indo-Greek ruler. He was conversing with and questioning Nagasen, who is a Buddhist monk, and finally he got converted to Buddhism. So it is the Miland Panho. Then we have Angutar Nikaya, that is contain information on 16 Mahajanpadas. You don't need to remember their names, but just remember the name of books, not Mahajanpadas. Then we have Jaina literature or Jain literature, whatever you call it. The language is Prakrit. For Buddhist it is Pali. For Jain it is Prakrit. Then Kalp Sutra is the first book. It deals with initial history of Jains. Like there are 24 Tirthankars. Tirthankar literally means pathfinders. So I'll be dealing with Jainism and Buddhism in detail. If you want me to, do let me know on Facebook page. Within 24 hours, I will demolish your doubts. Then Rishabdev was the first Tirthankar and 24th Tirthankar was Mahavir. Then we have something called as Naya Dhammakaha. Naya Dhammakaha. They include doctrines of Mahavir, and we have something called Acharang Sutra, code of conduct, followed by Jains. Earlier it was Vinay Pitak for Buddhist, and here it is Acharanga Sutra. Then we have something called as Sangam Literature. 2013 mains, there was a question from Sangam Literature. Please make sure you pay attention. Language is obviously Tamil. It is from 300 to 300. It is BC to AD. First book is Silappa Digram. It is also called as Jeweled Anklet. It was written by Elango Vedigal, and the main hero is Kovlan, whose wife is Kannagi, and who fell in love with Madhavi, who she was a court dancer. So Kannagi, she took revenge for killing of Kovlan, and that is why Patni Puja, that is worshipping of wife, is still prevalent, and Kannagi is worshipped. So there was a daughter of Kovlan with Madhavi, and her name was Mani Meghalai. It was written by Satanar, daughter of Madhavi and Kovlan. Mani Meghalai I am talking about. And after Kovlan's death, Madhavi converted to Buddhism, and it is one of the most balanced book of music, poetry and drama, and it includes religious theme. Please make sure you remember these names: Silappa Digram, Mani Meghalai, and finally we have Tolkapiyam. That is written by Tolkapiyar. It is including social and religious conditions, and it is the best book on Tamil grammar ever written. So this was Sangam literature. Then we have something called as epigraphy. So epigraphy is a study of inscriptions. Oldest inscription which are found are in Harappa. They are not yet deciphered. That is, we do not know what they mean. We do not know the meaning. Then the oldest deciphered one are Ashokan Inscriptions, and it was deciphered in 1837 by James Prinsep. He is a civil servant in East India Company. Then what these inscriptions tell you about? They tell you about the territorial extent of the kingdom, then various developments that took place in the kingdom, and various achievements of the ruler. Then we have something called as Murali Pillar. It is an example of an inscription. So it was made by Chandragupta II, and it is present in Qutub complex. This Qutub complex has Quwwat ul Islam Mosque, then it has Qutub Minar, and it also has various things, but importantly is Alai Darwaza. So remember these four things about Qutub complex. It is in Delhi. It has Mehrauli Pillar, it has Qutub Minar, it has Quwwat ul Islam Mosque, and it has Alai Darwaza. So it is, what is important about this is it is rust free till date. That is the most important part about this Mehrauli Pillar. Then we have something called as numismatics. Numismatics is a study of coins, and it depicts what usually depicts rulers on coins. I am talking about ruler का photo होता है, trees, gods, animals, and socio-economic importance are depicted on these coins. So started from Harappa and Rigvedic age. There was no currency. It was developed on barter system. You might be knowing barter. Let's say if you have wheat and you want rice, so you'll exchange them. No currency required. So exchange of goods on barter system, double coincidence of wants. Then we have something called as later Vedic age from 1000 to 600 BC, and they are related with something called as Nishka. Extremely important term, Nishka. Please make sure you know this Nishka term. It is a gold coin. It started in later Vedic age. Then in modern empire we have punch marked coins, they were punched. They were punched and they were called as pana or karsh pana. They are mix of 95% silver and 5% copper. Is that understood? So these are the mixture, 95% silver, 5% copper. Then finally our today's modern currency, that is rupiah. It was started by Sher Shah Suri in 1540s. Then we have something called as monuments. They deal with social and religious life and also deal with the stage of development in field of architecture. So these are the things which are shown in monuments. Then they are innumerable, so we'll require a separate video lesson on it. The two important monuments outside India are, first is Angkor Wat Temple. It is in Cambodia and it was earlier Hindu temple, then subsequently converted to Buddhist temple. It is the single largest religious monument in the world, expanding huge areas. Then it was made by Khmer king Suryavarnam II in the early 12th century and it is dedicated to Vishnu and not Shiva. Then we have something called as Borobudur Stoop of Java and it is dedicated to Mahayana Buddhism. So these are the two important which are outside India. Then we have something called as foreigners accounts. So first is Greek. It was before 326 BC because what happened in 326 BC, Alexander the Great came to India. Then Herodotus, he is the father of history, wrote Historica, something about India. Then we have Aristobulus and Onesicritus. They are generals of Alexander the Great and they also wrote something about India. Then the most important book is Indica. Written by Megasthenes. He lived in Chandragupta Maurya's time. He spent 14 years in India. Then we have Dimachus. He is a Syrian. He came in Bindusar court. Bindusar is son of Chandragupta Maurya and Dionysius came in. So it goes like this: C, then B, then A. So this is Mauryan Empire. Chandragupta Maurya, Bindusar and Ashoka the Great, not Alexander the Great. So then we have Pliny. Pliny wrote Naturalis Historica. It talked about trade relationship between Roman Empire with India. It was written somewhere around 1st century AD. Then we have Ptolemy. He wrote the book Geography. It talks about Indian soils, birds, territories, etc. And the single most important book is Periplus of the Erythraean Sea. Erythraean means literally red. And it was written somewhere around 1st century to 2nd century AD. And it is written by an anonymous author. It is the best book to explain most of the trade relations between India and other countries, especially Rome. Then we have something called as Chinese travelers. The two famous are Faiyan. He wrote a book called Fo Kuoki. Just remember this name, Records of Buddhist Kingdom. And he came in the time period of Chandragupta II. He talks about social life of Gupta period. Similarly, we have Hyun Sang or Xuanzang, whatever you want to call it. He wrote Si Yuki. He is also called as Prince of Pilgrims. He stayed 16 years in India. He came in the time of Harshvardhan around 6th to 7th century AD and he stayed in Nalanda University for 5 years. That is why Japanese government and Chinese government, they are funding for developing Nalanda University. Then we have something called as Arab travelers. Arab travelers include Al-Biruni. He was from Khiva, that is Uzbekistan. He wrote a book called Kitabul Hind or Tahqiq-e-Hind. He came in 1017, that is at the turn of 2nd millennia or 11th century, along with Mahmud of Ghazni. He is famous for robbing India 17 times. He was a great interpreter. I am talking about Al-Biruni, great interpreter and great scholar of Indian science, maths, astronomy, Arabic, Sanskrit. You tell it, he knows it. Then he was influenced by Bhagavad Gita, like most of us, and his 2-3 statements which are crucial for exam point of view, please pay attention. He told that Indians are geniuses but arrogant because they do not share their knowledge, and historians in India do not write in chronological order. Please make sure you remember these 2 words. So guys, if you like this video and if you want me to make more video, do like, share and subscribe. This is our channel on Academy, mine and Gaurav's. And if you have still any query, you can ping me at my Facebook page, that is www.facebook.com/romansaini.official. You can also tweet to me at my Twitter handle, romansaini. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you for watching it.